What's going on, you guys? Bryce McKinley, Coach Sharpen. You know what time it is. Hey, in this video, I'm going to be talking to you all about the art of conversation. And more importantly, the one tool that I've used for years to generate millions upon millions of dollars. So make sure you stick around, because at the very end of this video, I'm going to give you one tool where you can use this to help better communicate with your spouse, with your children, get the dishes done, the laundry picked up, and improve the art of your deal.
If you don't know Bryce, he's crushing it. He's doing over 50 wholesale deals a month.
So by now, you're probably wondering, what is the art of communication? What's the importance of having a conversation? And why is knowing the art of communication important to you? You see, I can remember a time where I had a hard time dealing with and communicating with my own children. That's right, my own son, the middle school millionaire, he and I were like butting heads, having conversation. Why? Well, two reasons. Number one, there was this barrier between us. That's right, just like you, there are barriers between you and the other person inside the communication event. You don't think like they do. They don't think like you do. And when you're trying to express a point, the other person is interpreting it from their perspective. How many times have you guys heard the story about there was a car accident, 3 people seen the same accident, and yet when the detectives came and the police took reports, all 3 of those accounts were very different. You see, the importance of conversation is not just telling your perspective, but also asking better questions so that you can get to a better end result for you and the other person inside the communication event. Let's take this a step further now. Now you're thinking about the conversation with your sellers. You guys watching this video right now are probably watching this because you're following me around wholesaling real estate and you want your buyers to pay more and your sellers to contract for less, right? That's how we make money. With the art of conversation wrapping around questions and how and what we do when we ask specific questions, you can actually use this one tool that I'm going to share with you at the end of the video to get your price with your buyers higher and your price with your seller lower. And if that's the case, that means you make more money in the meantime. So let's talk about this. So I was talking to you a little bit about how my son and I had this barrier of communication. I kept asking him questions from the adult version, my map, my mentality, where I was and what I needed to accomplish. What I hadn't considered was, while this little child sees the world this way, I see it this way. Meaning I have this limited view. I don't have these open blinders to have the conversation the way that I wanted to get to the point, because my child, on the other hand, has all of this creative genius going on. I mean, how many times have you talked to your children or your nieces or your nephews and you're like, where did that answer come from? It's because the way that they interpret what's being said and what's being said are 2 different things. So how do we bridge that gap? How do we have a better communication? Well, I've got one tool for you. It's what I call RAQ. R-A-Q. This stands for repeat, assign a feeling or emotion, and then ask a question. And so let me give you an example. As I'm talking to my son, I remember a time where we went to the park and he wanted to go play at the splash pad, but we got to the park and we weren't prepared. Why? Because all he could tell me is that he wanted to go play at the park. Just imagine if I was like, hey, middle school millionaire, do you want to go play on the playground or do you want to go play in the splash pad? What would he have said? I want to play at the splash pad, of course. And it's no different than when you talk to your sellers. They want to get as much as they possibly can. And heck, for the same reason, you should be willing to give them as much as you possibly can. Think about that. They want as much as they can. You want to give them as much as you can. If you can do that, you will have much better conversation. So how do we do that? Well, we use the RAQ. We repeat what they say. We assign a feeling or an emotion, and then we ask a better question. I believe that you cannot truly close a deal, solve someone's problems, if you don't first add value to their time, their money, and their family. So how do we do that? We ask better questions. So let's walk through this. My son and I go to the park. He wanted to play at the splash pad, and I'm like, You got your nice tennis shoes on and nice clothes, not your swimsuit. We should have talked about that. In reality, I should have just asked better questions. And so when you're talking to your homeowner and they want as much as they can, and you want to give as much as you can, well, we've got to bridge that gap somewhere. So you can repeat things back to them. Like, for example, they said that they updated their kitchen. You updated your kitchen? Gosh, that can be overwhelming. How long ago has it been since you've done that? Notice the tonality, notice the voice inflection, and I give it back to them. Oh, wow. You've got 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, and 2-car garage? Tax roll only says it's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 1-car garage. Did you guys put an update, or have you updated some things on the house? Notice the tonality, the curiosity, the questions that I ask. When I ask questions around what they're talking about, the odds are ever so in your favor for them to open up and give you more than what you originally thought you were going to get. So what I need you guys to do is rack. Repeat what they say. Assign a feeling or an emotion to that conversation, and then ask them a question about what they have recently spoke about. I've got an idea. Why don't we actually role play this with my assistant Alex? We're just going to have a random conversation, and I want you to listen to the points in which we converse. Alex, how's your day going?
Going pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm amazing. What's making your day so good?
Well, I just finished drinking my coffee, so that was a great way to start the day.
You just get done finished coffee? Gosh, that sounds exciting. What kind of coffee do you drink?
Just black coffee with some sweet cream to sweeten it up.
Black coffee with sweet cream to sweeten it up. I mean, that makes sense. What kind of cream do you use?
It is international. That's
International. That sounds exciting. Like, is that something to do with traveling, or is that just the brand of the coffee?
Just the brand.
Nice. So notice, like, we could go on like minuscule, like small talk, right? But as I repeat back, oh wow, you had your coffee for the day. That's exciting. Did you put sweetener in it? She's gonna talk about her cream or whatever, right? So now let's actually engage as if we're having a conversation with our seller. So Alex, I'm gonna have you turn around and pretend to be a homeowner. We don't ever look our homeowners in the face because we're doing things virtually, right? Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hey, this is Bryce. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Fantastic. Hey, Alex, the reason for my call is simple. My partners and I buy houses. We're looking for a few in your neighborhood. If I made you a fair offer that made sense, would you sell me your house today?
Probably.
Probably? That sounds kind of frustrating. You've been thinking about this for a while? Stop. Notice what I did. She said probably. I repeated back, probably? Gosh, that sounds frustrating. Have you been thinking about this for a while? Repeat, acknowledge, or assign a feeling or emotion, and ask a question. Keep going.
Yeah, I've been thinking about it for a while. It's just a little bit out of my not wanting to deal with it right now.
Gosh, that sounds frustrating, not wanting to deal with it right now. Is that just because you're busy with work, kids, family, all of the above?
All of the above.
Oh my gosh, all of the above. That's overwhelming. Like, where are you at in the process?
Just been looking around to see what houses sell for. That's about it.
Oh wow, so you've just been kind of browsing the internet, seeing what they sell for. Alex, I know that can be overwhelming sometimes. I'm curious, are you looking to sell sooner rather than later?
Definitely.
Notice how I just stopped there for a second. Notice how I just encouraged her. I created urgency by giving her what she's talking about. It's overwhelming. She's been looking all over the internet for her price or for what she thinks her value is worth, but she hasn't actually gotten started. Just by the rack, repeating what she said, assigning a feeling or emotion, and then asking a question. Now I can actually encourage this particular customer, Alex, to move forward sooner rather than later. And I've made it her idea. Alex, would you like to do this sooner rather than later? And she responds,
Definitely.
Definitely. Gosh, I'm glad that we could have this conversation. So tell me a little bit more about your house. And then she's gonna go on. Thank you, Alex. So now she's gonna go into the details of the house, and all you have to do as an observer, as the acquisition person, as the buyer, is simply repeat what they say, assign a feeling or an emotion, and then ask a question. When you ask better questions, you get better results. Guys, Bryce McKinley here, Coach Sharpen. You know what time it is. I want to personally thank you for watching these videos. You see, you might want to subscribe to this channel, and I'm not just saying that to get more followers, but the knowledge that I drop, I guarantee you won't get anywhere else. You see, the information that I give is not just the fluff that every other guru talks about. You might want to stay alert for what's happening next. So, subscribe, hit the notification bell to keep you posted. You're not going to want to miss what I drop on this channel.
Every single day.